shrugging it off a little bit and having fun with that. I look forward to playing future Daggerheart games, one-shots or whatever in the future down the road that have that more darker, serious tone too. Because it really can kind of work in all these different tones and settings. So, got some fun stuff.
Really fun stuff. Next question we have here is, how would you describe Daggerheart to new players?
You want to take this one, buddy?
So did Liu Kang create my universe?
I would describe it as a narrative-focused, combat-oriented fantasy TTRPG. It has, we're hoping that it captures both the fun of sitting around the table and like having those emotional moments with your players, as well as being able to have big fights with maps and minis. And I think that a lot of the influences that I have that we've all had, but like when starting to build this game that I was looking at, were like, okay, there's games that kind of are on one side of the fence and kind of on the other side of the fence, and how do we create something that has its own identity that sits in the middle, and maybe there will be some crowds that don't want more of the crunch and think it falls too far on the narrative side.
I need something to get the flower up with these little tiny miniature pancakes. Wow,
that's okay.
Where did you get that?
Of course. Lottos. We've got all kinds of helpful accessories for the kitchen. Cooking something up on the road? Come check out our portable kits that bakers love. Lottos. Eating habits fun.
The sun, giver of all life. The Mayans worship the sun. Then they disappear without a trace. Don't let this happen to you. The fact is, if you spend time in the sun, you're almost certain to die. All leading medical practitioners have determined sun exposure causes cancer and heartburn.
I'm an expert. Going in the sun is as dangerous as smoking or living too near a nuclear power station.
Oh no, not chemo again. No, never again with tropicarcinoma.
Keep out the sun's dangerous rays with tropicarcinoma. It's a unique blend of coconut oil, zinc, aluminum, boron, magnesium.
It has both narrative and combat. You can do big fight scenes, and also you can cry with your friends. That's all I want to do. I just want to fight big bad guys and cry with my friends. That's why we made Daggerheart.
Yeah, and every dice roll in some big or small way still advances the story.
They should be up to date. If you see any discrepancies, also on our side, we are making, that's one of the challenges, I think, of running an open beta that has changes that happen so quickly. Is like, we have to be done with our changes in time that then Demiplane and their team can go and implement the changes. And oftentimes, they are working so hard to get those in by the time our update goes live. Like, I can't even tell you how unbelievably hard that entire team has worked to keep things up to date. But it also requires us on our side to ensure that we are giving them all the changes, because we're going in and changing the manuscript and modifying cards, and all of that has to be tracked. So it should be up to date. If you see anything that seems like it's incongruent with what is currently in the manuscript or currently on the cards, that's probably us.
Probably on it.
Because we have to pass all of that along. So please let us know, let them know. Nicely, please. As nicely as possible. Because it's probably our fault. So let them know, and we will have a conversation. But yeah, it is a huge undertaking every month for them to be doing these updates for us, and we're so thankful for their work on this.
Please show them some love. If you haven't checked out Demiplane at all, just as a platform, please do. For Daggerheart, but also all of the things they have to offer. They have a wonderful team who've been working their ass off in tandem with us on this, so please show them some love. They're awesome folk over there.
Yeah. Next question is it possible to change to this system as a replacement for other games if we have an existing campaign already being run?
Oh yeah, entirely. I mean, there are some things that other systems that have been around a lot longer than this have far more options available, so not everything can, at the moment, be transitioned, of course, but we have these thoughts and have ideas for the future. But yeah, you can definitely do that. But it is a conversation with the player, because not everything is one-to-one from other systems. They're intentionally, everything is unique. There are some things that are familiar and some things that are not. And so you get to work with the players to figure out what are the themes of the characters that are important to them, and how can we recreate what is exciting about this character in Daggerheart, and how do we kind of facilitate that build. And so as long as everyone's excited about the idea of playing their character in a new way and discovering how that kind of, transitions and those expectations are set, then you can definitely do it. But it is definitely a conversation.
Yeah, well, and I would say too, like, one of the things that I really love, and Matt, I'm so thankful for your hard work on all of this, is like, the game is pretty once you like have read all of it and kind of understand the way it really fun. I find it really fun. Matt sends me emails at 3 in the morning like, making stuff all the time that we're excited about. But that also tells me, like, if you really want to support a player who doesn't have who's playing a class or has a specific ability or something from another game, they really want in Daggerheart, like, I would also say if you're up for it and you're up for it, like, you're on a card and see how it does, and have a conversation with the players and be like, if this feels too overpowered or underpowered, like, let's get it right. But feel free to also go and homebrew this.
Which the next question is, build homebrew rules for Daggerheart. Is there really a depth in this game? Absolutely. We have it in the base game. You have these classes that kind of work in a circle from the adjoining domains. But there are many domains. There are domains if you want to. You can customize it whatever you want. It's meant, we want to set a structure that when you know it well and you have a space in there and you have a mind for homebrew, go for it. That's one of my favorite things, and there's plenty of fun little knobs to turn in this game that you can make it your own and kind of have your custom version of Daggerheart at the table. And who knows, maybe in the future we'll have something that can support some of the things that you are hoping to see in the game that isn't there yet. We're obsessed.
We love making things. On the homebrew front, we have an entire section of the book that has not been written to nail down the mechanics before we do it. But there's a whole section you'll see it's in the manuscript right now. It just has no text under it, which is how to homebrew domains, how to homebrew classes, how to homebrew ancestry, all these things. And we're gonna dump our guidance from the time doing that on our side for the homebrew section in hopes that it will help you take it. We're really excited about combining domains that don't already have pairings, so we're doing some of that on our side just to see what cool stuff we can make. But like, you should absolutely find cool stuff with those domain combinations. Okay, you've talked about wanting more playtest information about long campaigns. Is there a version of the game you think will be stable for a long series? This is the one. We aren't releasing any more updates after this, barring some huge exception. This is the last one that you should get. So now is the time, and we're moving towards putting the whole thing into layout, collecting the last mechanical piece of feedback from you all, and making sure those are integrated. So now's the time, if there's a time, we will.
This is a big update compared to some of the last games because iterating and looking at feedback on some of these larger changes that we decided to make, what we wanted to kind of really get to a place where we're ready to release this final update. So this is going to be the closest it'll be to the final release. There will be many changes to make to get there, but this is a very, very strong forward-facing version, an example of what the final game will be like. So there's no better time to invest in a campaign.
Okay, is the team planning to keep iterating on weapons after V1.5? And is there any thought being given to a build your own equipment, port-buy system for weapons? I think we're open to looking at any of the, continue to iterate on weapons as much as people want. If there are things that you feel like are missing, do so. And also, weapons are like 3 or 4 things. They're like the name and the range and the stat that you're using and the dice and then a feature. I love the idea of just having like, once the game is out and you can release stuff for it, like a zine about weapons. Yeah, right. Like
you can skin them. You can create your own stuff around it. Like that'll be part of the homebrew section too.
Yeah.
Build your own equipment, have your own magical items. But we're still iterating on the basic behind the scenes. Still
Armor just changed a bunch. There's new stuff for that. So like, yes, and also. I think that one of the big things we want to do is ensure in the core game that it's a pretty streamlined experience. So I want people at level 1 who are coming in to go, okay, I'm making a character, here are my weapon options, here are my armor options, go. And then, in success, whether that's us or third party or you all at home, whatever you want to do, like creating a system so that for those who are comfortable with the game as it's normally played, you're like, okay, let's ramp up the customizability a little bit.
This game doesn't include a twin viper-plated chakra.
I'll just make one. His next big goal to try and introduce younger players. Many TTRPGs can be quite intimidating for a younger audience. That is definitely part of like the hand-holding introduction of the system that we're putting a lot of effort into for the core rules. It's definitely a robust system, meaning that we're providing a lot of options and a lot of tool sets to present to you if you want to use it. But it is intended to be presented in a way that can be very invitational to younger players as well as classic players.
Yeah, I think that we're hoping that the age range is pretty wide, right? Like, I really love playing with my friends, and we feel like there's enough mechanical weight there that it can be played for more than 10 or 15 sessions, and we still feel like we're discovering things or using abilities that we didn't, we didn't use last session. Like, it has enough going on that I'm excited about being able to play it with people that are my age, and also I think because it has cards that make it easy to just choose a couple domain cards you like these art options, and then like and you take an ancestor card that you like these art cards, and just make your character sheet and your loadout in a fun way like that. And I think that does make it easier for a younger audience to get in, because they can just be like, I really like these pictures, and I'm going to figure out how these cards work. I like the pictures.
Got a Magic Gathering now as well, like that. It's something we're definitely thinking of and continuing to push on. So that's the hope in the end.
If you had to pick 1 or 2 or 3 things about Dagger Heart that really fires you up, what would it be? If you had to pick 1, what do you think?
I love the duality dice. I love the fact that it's like the core mechanic of the game really excited me when you first presented it. I love the idea of there being a dice mechanic that had stages of narrative impact on it, to where, I've played so many other games, there's nothing worse than going through a series of player turns and nothing happens, because everyone is rolling. And as we've played many games, I love the idea that, core roles can still have an impact, or the players still have to have some agency or some benefit. Even if they fail at what they're doing, they can either have something cool that comes out of it that can lead to a future advantage, or something narratively challenging or terrible, or even just an ominous shift in that direction. The way the duality dice work really excited me, both to run a game and as a player. And that's kind of been a continued thing. So I've had to pick 1, and I just love how the duality dice function. And kind of acts that bridge between a lot of old school design philosophy and new school design philosophy, and we're trying to thread that needle and make it all.
Yeah, one is interesting because the 2D12, you would think if you were trying to replicate like the numbers of what people classically play, like 20, that you would use 2D10, and the 2D10 scale is like perfectly fine, but also 2D12 for me tends to hit a little bit higher on like it's actually more like centered. So when I started playing with 2D10 first, and that's around a lot of 2D10, and then 2D12 and found that I really liked the curve that made for the kind of game that we were making. And so I did 220 at one point. It was like all these different explorations, what kind of dice to use, and honestly, like, whatever you choose, you just start making you could do 2d6, right? You could do 2d8. It doesn't really matter. You're creating that curve or that mountain either way. But as far as like the results are concerned, but for me, there was something really special about having the 2d12 and having that hit at like 13 and having that as the average, because it feels like it's just higher than